Anybody can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person and to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power and is not easy, says Aristotle about emotional intelligence. Hey listeners, here is Giridhar and you are listening to the podcast Giridhar's Garady. Today, we have a brilliant personality on the show, a predominant speaker and a passionate Toastmaster known for his humbleness and friendly nature. On this note, let me welcome the guest for today's episode, Lokesh. Hi Lokesh, welcome to Giridhar's Gardy. How are you doing today?
Hi, Girdhar. I am doing good. Thank you for inviting me here. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Well, just one quick question before we start. How do you feel like being a guest on this podcast?
So, Girdhar, first of all, thank you so very much for inviting me here on your consistent podcast series, I must say. And I really appreciate the dedication you have for the consistency of your podcast episode on different topics. And I feel I come here with a lot of responsibility so that I can add value to the listeners of your podcast. I feel so good to be here with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lokesh. In fact, I'm privileged at this moment to have you on the podcast.
That's great.
All right.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, Lokesh, tell us what is emotional intelligence or emotional quotient all about?
Yes. Girdhar, before that, let me share with you. There are more than 3,000 words in English dictionary that describe emotions, out of which 1,051 words describe positive emotions and 2086 describe negative emotion, almost twice as positive emotions. What does it mean? It means that we use so many words to describe an unpleasant emotion. We focus more on what is unpleasant about life than looking at bright side of life. And life is an emotional experience. The quality of emotion you experience every day determine the quality of your life. And most important, your happiness depend upon it. So the emotional intelligence is the ability to identify what you are feeling, why you are feeling, and how your feelings not only affect you, but all those around you. In different words, if I say the emotional intelligence is also defined as an individual's ability to identify, evaluate, control, and express emotions. And let me tell you, people with high emotional intelligence usually make great leaders and team players. You know why? Because of their ability to understand, empathize, and connect with people around them. Over to you, Kedar.
Hmm, that's good to hear, Lokesh. Well, now that we have understood what is emotional intelligence, now can you share one or two practical examples from our day to day lives that depict this emotional intelligence?
Yes, Girdhar. You know, when you control your emotions, you become emotional intelligence. When your emotions control you, you start acting irrational, emotionally enslaved, and you must learn from your emotions and use them to create the result you want. One common situation, what happened, and Girdhar, you will agree with me on that part. While people drive on Indian roads, sometimes people drive faster, wrong overtake, unnecessary honking. And when you see others driving irrational, parallel to you, just next to you, in that situation, what you do? In this situation, some people let it go, but not everyone. Some people take it personally. Why you are honking unnecessary? Why you are overspeeding? They react to others' action, and with that reaction, they lose out control on their own self. People get into argument, road rage, and sometimes it can be life threatening because you don't know other person is in which mood. And by entering into argument, you are losing control of your own thoughts. You total surrender to others and start reacting illogical. This can be simply avoided by not making an eye contact with other person or by considering other side of story, which could be possible, right? Maybe other person is driving fast, maybe due to some medical emergency in his family, or maybe some other genuine reasons. But one thing is for sure, emotions are action signals. And emotions meaning is often hidden, and we seldom ignore these hidden messages. We are aware of messages behind pleasant emotions, but we are not aware of messages behind our pleasant emotions. Let me share with you one more example. Everyone experiences hurt in our lifetime. We feel hurt when we are expecting someone to care for us, when you lose someone who is dear to you, when you are ignored or badly treated by people you care about. Therefore, we feel disappointed and we communicate feeling of hurt through various emotions like pain or anger. What is the hidden message in hurt? Benjamin Franklin said, those things that hurt instruct. And the only solution is to increase the gap between time of stimulus and response. Let me share my personal observation. One of my friend was facing difficulty in his marriage life. Both my friend and his wife have lot of fights and arguments and decided to separate with each other, and situation becomes so worse that for both the family decided to separate with each other, and they reached till court for settlement. Being a friend, I went along with elders in his family to mediate that discussion to resolve the conflict between two families. Though I was too young to mediate that dispute, but what I learned is that different people perceive same situation in different way. During that whole mediated discussion, few straight away spoke that these two families can't stay with each other, so separate them. Who were those? Those who listen only one side of story and accepted it. In fact, after listening to my friend's side of story, I also believe that these two families should not stay together at any cost. But there were two gentlemen who has different way of looking at the same situation. They listened to both family side of story one on one and mediated the discussion with lot of positivity by understanding their situation. They added that this was huge misunderstanding between two families and it can be resolved by taking more time and by understanding others' point of view. And after a lot of efforts from these two gentlemen, both families agreed to try one more time to stay with each other. Both those gentlemen facilitated in such a way to make this relationship strong, unlike others who want to break it. Now, Girdhar, I'm so happy now when I'm sharing this example because it's almost 12 years. My friend is living happily with his wife and having two kids. But Girdhar, don't ask me how it is possible to live happily in married life. But one thing is for sure that how we perceive the information in different situation and how we respond to those situations makes whole difference in quality of our life. That's where we can also define the level of our emotional intelligence.
Wow, that's amazing, Lokesh. Those two examples were really good, especially the second one, which most of us are usually hearing these days about such cases. But I'm really happy that it ended on a positive note. And yes, it really talks a lot about emotional intelligence and the way we perceive things.
Yes, yes, true.
Yeah. All right. So now tell me, what are the types of emotional intelligence?
Yes. So, Girdhar, emotional intelligence has its five components, and let me be very brief on these five components because I don't want to go much deeper into it. But yes, I'll give a gist about it. There are five components: is self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Self-awareness, as the word suggests, awareness of our own self, is the ability to understand one's own mood, emotions, and drives, as well as its effect on others. And the elements could be the self-confidence, self-assessment, and the second is self-regulation. As I have mentioned, the word itself suggests self-regulation, the ability to control or redirect disruptive impulses or moods. And the elements could be the trustworthiness and integrity, comfort with ambiguity. And the best example I should give here is the Sachin Tendulkar. Many times we have seen on international cricket when Sachin was not out, but by mistake or for whatsoever reason, umpire has given out, he never argued back. He has so much of control that he respect that level of difference, and he always went back pavilion and accepted that decision. Third component is the self motivation, passion to work for reason beyond money or status. I met with one of the doctor 2 days back, and he was practicing doctor. Side by side, he was also supporting NGO for different noble cause. Right? That's what when you practice, you work for money, but when you're working for NGO, it's beyond money. That's the self motivation. The fourth component is empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand the emotional makeup of other people, and it is also a skill in treating people according to their emotional reactions. So now people with high empathy, they are better able to engage people with them. There is a saying, Girdhar, that people leave managers, not the organization. And that's all true here. The managers or the leaders, I can say, who are high in empathy, they are better able to retain the talent pool, and that leads to the greater performance as well. And the last component of emotional intelligence is social skill. Social skill is the proficiency in managing relationships and building network. What are the key elements of social skill is the effectiveness in leading change and the expertise in building and leading teams. So these are the five components, Girdhar, for emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills.
Very nice, location, especially the examples that you are trying to quote here and there for all of them are something that every one of us can easily correlate and connect with.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so now that we have understood about the emotional intelligence and also the types, now let us know how can we understand that we are emotionally intelligent.
Yes, sir. And I would like to share with you with one real example which happened in my family. One of my close friends visited my place for 3 days, and he observed me for 2 days doing morning happiness meditation. And on third day, with lot of curiosity, he asked me, Lokesh, what you are speaking while meditating? Is it helpful? And I asked him to sit with me and to follow me what I am doing. And I told him to take deep breath in and breathe out 3 times. He did that. Then I said, say, God bless me with good health and happiness. And I asked him to repeat it 3 times. He did that. Then same wish 3 times for your family members. He did that too. Now I asked him to repeat the same wish for the cab driver with whom he reached my place 2 days back. And he did that too. And Girdhar, now I ask him to do the most difficult one. Yeah, I ask him to wish good health and happiness for his manager who fired him from job 5 years back. And without my surprise, he stopped there. He could not do that. He find it so difficult or impossible to wish good health and happiness for his previous manager. Why? Because his manager fired him from a job, and due to that his life became hectic and he struggled for 1 year to get his personal and professional life back on track. Is that was the reason? So the issue is that we don't let things go. We don't forgive people because of our expectation not met. Because someone insulted you 10 years back, ignored you 2 years back, left you when you was in college. Bob Proctor, Bob Proctor rightly said, we are here for a short time. Let's make this journey wonderful. And how can we do that? By simply not taking everything so personally. Let things go. It is okay. Let it go. Not for others, but for your own healthy mind. And remember, healthy mind create healthy family, and healthy families create healthy society. So the first most important step to understand the level of your emotional intelligence is the willingness to understand it. So Girdhar, though there are a lot of surveys, assessments are available to check your EI score or the level of emotional intelligence, but it is always good to ask people you live with, you work with, about how you do as a person, how you connect with them as a manager, as a colleague, and if intent is genuine, then people give their feedback genuinely. And Girdhar, to be very honest, I have experienced it personally. That this way we can understand that are we emotionally intelligent or what level of emotional intelligence we are at right now.
That's really nice, Lokesh, again. And the meditation thing is something that can inspire anyone.
Yeah, and when I talked about the happiness meditation, there you need to wish a good health and happiness for yourself, your family member, and the neutral people in your life. And there are some people we consider negative in our life, for whom we don't want to see, or they don't want to see us. Can we wish them a good health and happiness? And if we can do that, it means we are improving on our emotional intelligence. Like in my friend's case, Girdhar, sorry for the repeat of the sake of the repetition, but my friend was not able to do that because we don't able to let things go. Even 10 years back, what happened in our life, and we have to let it go to improve on our emotional intelligence.
Yes, that's the ideal way for dealing with most of the things. Moving on.
Yes.
All right. So now that we have understood how much we are emotionally intelligent, tell us how could we improve our emotional intelligence?
Accept the things which cannot be changed and change the things that cannot be accepted. You all must have observed during school days that some kids used to tease other kids, like who is chubby, fatty kid in our classroom, and other used to tease those chubby kids by calling them motu, fat man. Yeah, right, Girdhar? Such kind of things happen in our school days. And similar thing happened with me when I was in seventh standard. And many of my cousins, classmates used to tease me about my big nose. I have little big nose, not too big for sure. And I was lean and thin young boy. With that lean body, my little big nose was visible as quite big nose. And my classmates, my cousins used to tease me with name of big nose. For a long time, I felt bad about it until I realized that I need to stop feeling bad about it because it cannot be changed. Let me share a great research mentioned in a book, Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. So there are two parts in our brain. One is amygdala and second is neocortex. Amygdala is also known as the emotional brain and neocortex known as the thinking brain. And it is proved with lot of research that amygdala, emotional brain, has capacity to hijack the brain. Now the question is how? Because our sensory signal from our eyes and ears travel first to in the brain to thalamus and then send first signal to amygdala, which is our emotional brain, and the second signal is routed to the neocortex, the thinking brain. So what does it mean? The first signal is going to our emotional brain and second signal is going to our thinking brain, because amygdala, the emotional brain, is receiving it first, so it has a capacity to respond first. Our emotional brain receive information first and has a capacity to respond first, before even before than the thinking brain. Now, what happened in my case is that whenever people used to say me a big nose, my ear is sending information to my emotional brain first, and later it goes to my thinking brain. And that was the whole reason for the emotional breakout. And whenever people bully or tease others, that's what happen in every situation. When we feel hurt, when we our expectation doesn't met, all these things first goes to our emotional brain, and our emotional brain hijack our thinking brain. So how I improved on my emotional intelligence is that I accepted what cannot be changed. Other way to improve emotional intelligence is to don't take things so personally. So people often say, why only me is a victim of bad experiences? Why only me? Let it go sometimes. It's okay sometimes not to take things so personally. People fear to so many things in life, and due to that fear, they don't try to overcome that fear. And people who really enjoy life do not consider any fear in life. And same situation can be perceived differently by different people. One may fear, and other may try to deal with situation with intelligent actions and do not perceive that as fear at all. So two things, Girdhar, that how we can improve on our emotional intelligence is accept the things which cannot be changed and change the things which cannot be accepted. And second is don't take all the things so personally.
Great, great. Maybe I think it depends on person to person and even the area or the place where they were born and brought up with means the in I mean based on the surroundings in which they actually have grown up. So I think it depends on person to person to
Yes, Girdhar, you're rightly
yeah,
saying that it depend on different circumstances, and I strongly believe the emotional intelligence foundation can be made basis on early childhood, basis on all the circumstances we live in, where we are living, in which circumstances, whom with we are living. Yes, it depends person to person for sure.
yeah. Okay, so is there a way we can learn this emotional intelligence from others? And if so, how?
Yes, Girdhar. You must have seen some people who react immediately in different situations. It can be road rage, family arguments, arguments with colleagues, which is, I can say, most common in our corporate world. And there are some who don't just react, who just don't react to situations without knowing other side of story. You can learn from both these kind of personalities, one who reacts immediately and one who understands situation well before responding. And the difference in both is that one who do not respond without understanding both side of story is better able to resolve an issue conflict by taking people together. So observe your own and others reactions actions and response in your day-to-day practice while dealing with your manager colleagues and in social life. Observe while you become aggressive suddenly, and just after showing aggression you feel bad about it. I asked my mentor that how you are good at controlling your emotions, and he answered, I am not taking things so personally. What happened, Girdhar, if you can recall down the line 20 years, 30 years back, earlier one family used to have 5 to 10 kids, or maybe 50 years back, right? Family used to be a joint family, and those kids and family used to fight with each other, tease each other, knows how to make happy each other after fighting too much. They were habitual of sharing things, and they share because they understand each other's emotions. Now think of a child who is the only child in individual family. Both parents are working. The child have lot of toys with him, but no one to play with him, no one to fight with him, no one to share with him, no one to console with him. And Girdhar, I'm not at all recommending to have family of 5 to 10 kids, but that's the reality. Though, as I mentioned, emotional intelligence foundation can be made from early childhood. However, An adult can also develop on emotional intelligence by regular understanding, practicing emotional intelligence in day-to-day life. That's what how we can, learn on emotional intelligence.
Very true on that example, Lokesh, which you were saying about the one single child. Because end of the day, man is a social being, and without anyone around, it will be very difficult for children as well to grow properly.
Yes, very true.
Yeah. Okay. So now tell me, what are the benefits of improving our emotional intelligence?
So I always believe, Girdhar, that happy minds create happy family, and happy families makes happy society. What do we need? We need happy society, and not the vice versa. And Girdhar, if I ask you question right now to rate yourself from -5 to +5 for your current level of energy and pleasantness, how will you rate? If +5 we define as high level of energy and pleasantness, -5 is the very negative level of energy and pleasantness, and 0 is the neutral, 3 is slightly positive, -3 is slightly negative. So right now, if I say where you stand at your current level of energy and pleasantness.
Probably I would go with neutral zero.
Oh, very interesting. But does it really remain same every day?
Of course not. It goes
Of course not.
here and there. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. When it goes down, it's the level of our emotional intelligence, the capabilities, which help you to deal with this low level of energy and how fast you can increase the level of energy. Some may take 2 days, some may take 6 months. When breakup happens between two friends, one overcome this setback early and other take it so personally for life for years. And this is high emotional intelligence can help you to deal effectively with difficult most situation and to overcome those situation with less degree of loss, hurt, and unpleasantness. Emotional intelligence can increase level of your confidence in front of others. You feel comfortable with ambiguity, stronger relationship. It increases trust. An employee at local Karyana shop earning 5,000, 10,000 rupees per month can be happier than an MNC employee who earns lakhs of rupees. And emotional intelligence makes the whole difference. These all are, I see, the benefits of emotional intelligence.
Yes. With this, I feel how much it is important for every one of us to improve on our emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So earlier, like you said, with improvement in emotional intelligence, we would be happier for all the time, and happy people make happy families, and happy families make happy society. So let me put my next question in this way. Apart from this way, is there any other thing that you would like to add on how emotional intelligence can impact the society as a whole?
Yes, and I have shared a lot on this on my previous responses, and let me make it a very brief. As I have already mentioned, that happy people create happy society. And does time stay with everyone? Probably not. But when you face difficult time, it is how you deal with it can make whole difference. I have given example of my friend family. I've given of my friend who visited my place. I've given an example of Sachin Tendulkar, right? So the Sachin Tendulkar, at a different time of when he faced a difficult decision by umpires, even the captaincy decision, that response from Sachin Tendulkar can make an impact in entire team. Similar way as an individual, whatever we make, it impact on our family. And similar way, where we live in our society, how we deal with our other neighboring society, neighboring families, that make a greater impact on other families, and that as a whole can impact society positively, negatively. And this is up to us. We need to choose how we want to impact our society. It's all up to us. The level of emotional intelligence can play a very, very important role. And most important thing, Gidar, that emotional intelligence is not being taught in our school, college. Probably in nowadays, in some of the colleges now it's one of the subject, but otherwise, majority of places this is not being taught. We need to work on it if we are there lacking it to make a better impact on society.
Amazing, amazing, Lokesh. So, just like how you have briefed this response, I just would like you to give one strong message to our listeners before we wind up this concept with respect to emotional intelligence.
Yes, definitely, Gidar. And I must say that emotional intelligence is definitely a necessity in today's competitive working environment, as long as we are working with humans in every role. Though we know that we are working on artificial intelligence, we are working on robotic, but we are not stopping to work with human beings. So, as long as we are working with human beings, emotional intelligence is the necessity in today's world. And emotional intelligence explain the importance of emotions in your life, how they help and hurt your ability to navigate the world. And let me close with the quote by Daniel Goleman. In a very real sense, we have two minds, one that thinks, one that feels. I repeat, in a very real sense, we have two minds, one that thinks and one that feels. Our own understanding of these two brains can take us places in our personal and professional life. Over to you, Girdhar.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Lokesh. Thank you so much for that brilliant message on emotional intelligence.
Most welcome, and I feel so blessed and I feel so glad to be on your podcast with this, sharing experience, my knowledge with all of you. And one declaration: I am not the expert on emotional intelligence. This is my interest area, and with that interest, I am sharing my thoughts with you. Thank you very much once again, Girdhar, for giving me this opportunity to be with you on your podcast channel.
Awesome, awesome. But hey, before we bid adieu, we have a short segment that's a special segment, especially in my podcast, that is
Mhm.
the rapid fire round. Are you ready?
Okay, yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah, superb. So, Lokesh, here's my first question in the rapid fire round:
Mhm.
intelligence quotient or emotional quotient? I think I know the answer.
Yes, you know the answer. Emotional quotient.
Awesome. Okay, emotions or feelings?
Yes, feelings. Why feelings? Let me also tell you feelings because our thoughts create feelings and our feelings create our emotions. So, feeling first.
Brilliant. Okay, thoughts or opinions?
Thoughts.
Mhm. Okay, intelligence or smartness?
Uh, do I have an option to choose both?
Yes, of course, you can. You can
so
even
I
choose neither.
so I choose both.
Awesome. Okay, difficulties or challenges?
I love challenges. I go with challenges.
Superb. Conflict or dispute?
So I don't choose anyone.
Awesome. It's in line with what you have already told so far.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, empathy or sympathy?
Though I really love the word or the deep meaning of empathy, but I go with both because on a different situation in our life, both are important. So I go with both empathy and sympathy.
Yes, very true. Okay, communication or conversation?
I choose both.
Awesome. Okay, understand or comprehend?
I understand, comprehend.
Okay. So, Lokesh, here's my final question in the rapid fire round, my most favorite one. Let's see what you are going to say.
Okay.
Giridhar or Lokesh?
Oh, nice. That's nice. But to be very honest, it's very Easy for me, and I choose Girdhar here because Girdhar, thank you so much once again. You gave me this opportunity to be here with you. I choose Girdhar.
Wow, thank you, Lokesh. Thank you so much for not only choosing me, but also for being with us on this show today. And we look forward to having you once again on this podcast in future.
It will be my great pleasure to be with you again. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much once again for being with us.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. So that's the end of the episode, listeners. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll be back next week with another amazing guest. See you.